Welcome to Womanhood episode 3, MS and periods. When women are on their periods, their body temperature rises and estrogen levels drop. This and other factors can lead to worsening of MS symptoms or return of old symptoms.
Okay, so our next topic is MS and periods, one of my favourite. And our first question is, do your MS symptoms get worse around your period? If so, does this include physical and cognitive symptoms? From my experience, absolutely.
Yeah,
the week before my period, I am a monster. Don't talk to me, don't try and be around me. My MS goes into what I call a pseudo-relapse. And yeah, my cognition, like my moods specifically go like on a whole roller coaster. Yeah. How everyone else?
Yeah, my fatigue, can't function.
Yeah.
On my period.
Isn't it to do with like the slight increase in body temperature though?
That or hormones, but who knows, because the research is
There's not there. I think my periods, my MS was always worse. Like I would have more pain, more flare-ups around my period. And so I kind of knew what that was about. And then I had quite a new immune system and my periods got so much, like, you know, when you first started having periods when you're like 12 or 13 and they're really like horrendous. I went back to that after being like, I would usually be like, I've got a period. I'm in a bit of pain, but I'm okay. Where I was literally having to go to bed. I was so unwell with them. It brought me massive anxiety, which was brand new for me. I felt really terrible. And I looked it up and there was no information about it because it wasn't anything that anyone had looked into before. But I thought, oh my God, like I need help. I'm in so much pain. My anxiety is through the roof. I've never had periods like this. And I was thinking, hang on, is it perimenopause? Is it something else? I had no idea. And there was no answers out there for me. I really didn't know. I just sort of had to work it out myself, really.
I have never had bad periods or anything, so I can't relate on that side of things. But I just find the whole process of a period really stressful. Like so stressful now that a lot of my functions are less than it was before. I find a tampon extremely difficult to put on. Yeah. I find just pads messy and annoying, and I think everything is just harder when your hand doesn't really work that well, or you don't have balance to kind of hover over the toilet, or you know, it's just really, I hate it so much.
They're not accessible products,
no,
are they?
Nothing.
In any way.
It's
That's
so bad.
The physical side of having a period as a disabled woman. I'm like, where do I find that information? What do I do?
There isn't
when that happens?
There's a market being missed
it.
there.
It's
horrible.
You just said that,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking,
it's really difficult
because it adds an extra. It's like almost like an extra step, and that's the thing. It's like, for example, it's raining today, so that in itself is an extra step that I have to deal with. In that I don't want to get wet, which means I have to hold an umbrella, which means so it's like the same with the period thing. It's like it's an added. It's like, oh God, I need to change my tampon.
I have to get my husband to start like changing my tampon for me. Like, what do I do?
Yeah. Like I've created so much mess before. It's traumatic. I'm like, I just don't want to do this. And like sometimes I'm just like, I would rather not wear anything, no tampon, no pad, and just bleed because I just don't want to deal with it. It's stressful. And then I've ruined someone's toilet or my own or a public place, and it becomes embarrassing. And so I just don't want to go out.
Nobody talks about it. I've never heard anybody else talk about that ever. And so, I was thinking, like, when this happens, like, where do I go to get that information and be told what to do?
I don't think there is. I don't think there is a place. I really don't. Or even like accessible period products.
Exactly.
I mean, what do they look
need.
like?
That's exactly what we need. I've ruined tampons so many times because I can't. My hand will not force it up there, and it then can't pull it back down, or it's not enough. It's just, it's horrible. And I think things like this, where we talk about this, is really important because nobody talks about it. Yeah. And actually, it's really difficult to do that. And you have to, like, I've been hovering, like trying to lean somewhere because my balance is bad and trying to put a tampon up there, and it's just like my hands aren't working, and then I have to switch hands, and then I've ruined the tampon because it's got wet now, so you can't push it up there.
Also,
so
that's dangerous.
It's just,
you could hurt yourself doing that. It wouldn't take a lot, would it?
Exactly. I could fall.
And
anything.
then if you're in a public toilet, well then you
gosh,
have
no.
that to deal with as well.
No.
That's too much, you know?
Stay at home.
Yeah, and that's really rubbish. That for I don't know,
because your
5
periods,
days
people,
to a week a year, you have to stay at home.
Could last for
God
knows how long. Mine aren't, thankfully, but they could be 10 days, could be 7.
10 days out of
Who
a month
knows?
having to stay at home is completely ridiculous and unfair that you're put in that position.
Do you think there are enough resources available to help women with MS migrate changes in their symptoms around their periods?
No.
That was easy, right?
Not at all.
Okay, also, some studies have shown that DMTs affect your menstrual cycle. Has this happened to any of you?
No, I've been on beta interferons and never told anything like
Really?
that. 16-year-old, I started on beta interferon. So, like, had my period, but still a young woman, child almost, coming to terms with my own body. Didn't know how to, like, keep on track of anything. Still learning about my body. Was on a beta interferon, and that's the first time I've ever heard that.
This is the first time I've heard that. Not at all.
Nobody's ever said anything about menstrual cycles and DMT.
So there's a massive lack of information given to women because the booklet is for everyone, isn't it?
Yeah.
That you're given.
You're
There's
treated as a person, not a woman.
I mean, I've seen a MS and periods booklet.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, charities.
Where did you get it?
Oh, well, charities, right? But saying that then, as we all have our individual experiences and we all come from a different perspective, do you have any advice or top tips about how to best manage periods and changes in MS symptoms? Give me a tip each. Go on, I know you got one.
I don't think I have a tip because I don't think I've figured it out well enough. Yeah. It's not seamless, so I could give someone a tip. I feel like I'm a mess when I'm on my period because of all the things I have to juggle. So I could never give someone any advice based on that. And I've considered like period pants because I think maybe they could be good. And I want to try it, but I'm like, there's that part of me that doesn't want to because I'm used to my periods in a certain way and using tampons or a pad that I don't want to switch to pants because for me it's a bit weird. What do I wash them? Where do I wash
wearing
them?
A nappy, but also they're not suitable.
Yeah.
Like they wouldn't be enough for me.
Exactly. It's just
for the first few days. I don't know. What options are there?
I
think conversations. Sorry.
So you go ahead.
Conversations like this are a good way to like start talking to other women. Yeah. Knowing that you're not alone, dealing with this stuff, that it's not in your head. That that gives you a feeling of relief a bit. That I'm not on my own. I'm not imagining things. Things do get worse. I'm allowed to cut myself a bit of slack.
That's what I was going to say. Just be aware that your MS might flare up a bit and not to worry. Like this is what. Like, just stay calm, like, as much as you can when you do on your period, and it will pass to a point.
I think listening to how you feel and just being not selfish, but putting yourself first. If you're thinking, right, I've got to go out this weekend, I've got to go and see this person, I've got to do this and this needs doing, just being like, actually, no, I'm just not going to do any of that because I don't feel well, I'm on my period, got some anxiety, my whole body is hurting, I'm not doing it, and that's okay, and that is the way it is. And just being like, actually no, like just learning to be like, put yourself first in the situations where you really
like
have
you just
to.
said, I said I would think listen to your body
and
know everything down, everything, because those awkward conversations when we go to those medical professionals, if you've written it down, that's there, everything's there. They're going to go, well, what did you think? Because I don't know about you guys, but cognitive wise, where on my period, it goes completely gone. So if I don't write it down, by the time we get to the MS appointment, I know what I'm saying to you because I don't remember what happened myself. That's why I'm a monster every month, because I don't remember when it's coming.
It takes me by surprise every month. It's amazing. Wow. That explains it.
Okay, so MS and contraception. Has MS affected your choice of contraceptive?
Well, I had to get a coil, which I don't want. I didn't want any contraception because I feel like my body's been through enough. It's got enough toxic things in it. A choice that I made, aware that I wouldn't be able to get pregnant, and that's okay because I feel like I've done with that anyway. But also the massive change in my periods made me think I can't deal with this, and my periods are really affecting me. So I did a lot of research. My mum's a nurse, which is, I thank her every day for choosing that career. It's so handy. But I thought, okay, well, what's the best thing for lightning periods? I just basically need to just stop. I'm spending too much time every month being in pain and being uncomfortable. So I got a coil, and actually I don't really want it. I would rather have not have had that. I sort of thought like, it's foolproof. I cannot get pregnant. Like I cannot. So I just thought, well, I just have to do that, and just thought, okay, I'll just go with it. And it was quite uncomfortable, and I didn't want it, but now I've got it in my body, and it's one of one of those things where you've sort of, I guess you're not putting yourself first. You just got to think, okay, I've just got to, I cannot get pregnant, so how can I make that happen?
Yeah, I've got the coil too, and I actually think MS hasn't influenced my choice of contraception over the years, but it should have done. But it's never been a conversation. It's, it's just going back to that. It's no, sorry, I'm getting foggy. There hasn't been that holistic approach. So things like DMTs or other painkillers. I'm on a number of different things now. As I said earlier, I found out from a friend, not from a medical professional, that one of the painkillers can affect contraception. But I absolutely can't get pregnant on the DMT that I'm on. But these conversations aren't part of the conversation with your MS team. So I feel like I should have had more input from them about what contraception to choose and how the different DMTs and drugs might impact it. But that's never been part of the conversation. I've had to just wing it myself, basically.
Yeah, it is a lot of winging it.
Yeah.
Most things, it's like, oh, we'll just try that. If it doesn't work, we'll just try something. But it's like, I would rather be informed rather than
Definitely
be doing my own scratchy research and winging it and just hoping for the bloody best all the time. Honestly, I think optimism gets us through a lot of this.
I've been round the mill with contraception, to be honest, and tried and failed on a lot of them. And actually, MS did affect my decision to want to use the combined pill, because with that pill, you have to go back to the hospital every 3 months, I think it is, because there's a risk of blood clots. And for me, my mobility is terrible, and I can't travel on my own and do certain things on my own, and I didn't want to be going to the hospital every 3 months to check blood clots. So I'm like, give me something that I don't need to come anywhere and that I can just take and that I don't need to be checked on or anything. But nothing worked, so I have to do that. And so yes, MS affected my decision, however, that wasn't my choice in the end. I have to still do it. So yeah,
mine wasn't MS. I had antiphospholipid syndrome, should we say. So I couldn't take the combined pill. So I got that when I was 18. They told me that. So I've never taken any contraceptives till this year, and I took the combined pill. I didn't like it. I like the holistic lifestyle. I like natural things inside my body, and it wasn't an MS's fault, but it kind of made me think I might have to. And I've decided absolutely not. I'm going to take the risks and live with it.
I would prefer that. I actually wouldn't want to take a contraception. I would prefer not to. Yes. I just can't risk getting pregnant while I can't walk and deal with a child, really. I feel like I need to be better in my body to be able to run around after a child or look after them. I'm going to get fatigued and I need to sit down, but a child needs me. They're crying. And, I want to take them to the park, but I can't because my legs don't work. Yeah. And it's all those things that I would love to not take contraception, but I have to because I can't get pregnant.
Yeah. Do you feel supported in making decisions about contraception?
No.
Not really.
No. Because I feel like healthcare professionals will just be like, well, you should just take this. And it's like, yeah, but I'm having all these side effects and it's affecting my life in this way and this way. And they're like, yeah, but you should just take it anyway because you don't want to get pregnant. So that's the answer.
Things really aren't considered.
Yeah.
They just want to give you the bullet points on Google, but your actual life and how you're going to deal with certain things aren't really considered as much as they should be. I find that a lot as well.
Yeah.
I just feel my neurologist just says contraception as if that's just a one thing. Take contraception. It's like, right, there's maybe 50? There's loads of them. Options. Just take it. If I said to him which contraception, I know that he would be like, well, you'd need to talk to a doctor.
Forward you to someone else.
I can't. That's out of my remit. But it would be handy if he had a bit more knowledge on them, or people with this have found that this one works or this has got this. It would be nice to have a bit more trust that he would have any idea what he's talking about.
Again, I think it goes back to the research that doctors are never going to feel, consultants are never going to feel comfortable unless there's the research there that says actually, yes, periods impact MS in this way, and these are the things that you can do or take. These are the contraceptions that mitigate your periods and therefore mitigate the rise in MS symptoms and blah, blah, blah. That research just isn't there.
MS and periods recap. You are not crazy. Your MS may feel more pronounced or worse around your period. Talk to other women who maybe experience the same thing as you. Contraception may help with regulating periods and managing symptom fluctuation. Put yourself first, listen to your body, and write down symptom changes so you can talk to your healthcare professional about it.